Hey guys, Dimension Master Studios here. How y'all doing? In case you guys don't know, the next season of Ninjago is rapidly approaching us, and when it comes to this next season, it is going to be the first season of the brand new series, Dragons Rising. And with the next season rapidly approaching us, I decided that I wanted to talk about some things that I want to see in the next season of the show. So in today's video, in no particular order, I am going to be going over 5 hopes for the next season of Ninjago. And so with all that, let's get into this whole thing. So for starters, my first hope that I have for the next season of the show is that allies from other realms will return during this season. Based on the stuff that we've seen when it comes to this season, it looks like the realms are going to be a major focus when it comes to the next season, and I feel like it would make a lot of sense if characters from other realms made a return at some point during the season. Given the fact that the next series is going to be called Dragons Rising, I feel like it would make a lot of sense if Faith and the Dragon Hunters, even Firstborn, made an appearance during the season. Given some of the stuff that's been said by people who work on the show, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cloud Kingdom writers ended up making a return during the season. And finally, given the fact that during the trailers, inside one of the rifts, we can see the Netherrealm, I wouldn't be surprised if Netherrealm characters end up making their return during the season. And that is one thing that I and many other fans really want to see, because if Netherrealm characters do end up returning, this means that after all this time, Akito will finally return into the show. And like I said, that's something that I and many other fans really want to see. And hopefully this happens, but we'll just have to wait and see. Speaking of the realms though, that actually relates into another hope that I have for the next season of the show. I hope the next season ends up showing us the other realms. When it comes to Ninjago, we know that there are 16 realms in total, however, we haven't seen every single realm. When it comes to the realms that we have seen, we've seen Ninjago, the Underworld, the Realm of Madness, the Cursed Realm, the Cloud Kingdom, Jinjago, the Departed Realm, Shima, the First Realm, and the Never Realm. That is 10 realms in total. However, there are still 6 realms that we haven't seen yet, and I feel like it would make a lot of sense if during the next season we finally got a chance to see these 6 realms. And I feel like it's also possible that when it comes to some of the new characters that we'll see during the season, they might actually be from these other realms. I feel like that is a possibility. Plus, at the same time, given the fact that multiple people who work on the show have talked about the other realms, I feel like it would make a lot of sense if, again, the other realms made an appearance during the season and we finally got a chance to see what's going on with these 6 other realms. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to see that during the next season. For my next hope, it's gonna be something different, because for my next hope, I actually hope we don't see returning villains as major antagonists during the season, and the reason why I'm saying that is because of Crystallized. A big thing that we saw during Crystallize was a bunch of older villains returning and them being major antagonists during the season, and we saw that with the Overlord, Harumi, Pythor, Asphira, King Vangelis, and the Mechanic, making Mr. F the only new villain we got during the season, and even then he was just a different version of Mr. E. Meaning, the last time that we got a new major antagonist in the show was back during 2021 with Calamar during the events of Seabound. And I feel like bringing back older antagonists and making them major villains during the next season wouldn't make a lot of sense, because this means we wouldn't have gotten any new major antagonists in the show for 2 years. Again, there is Mr. F, but he wasn't the overall major antagonist of Crystallized. That was the Overlord. So again, when it comes to the next season, I honestly hope we don't get any returning antagonists during the season as major villains. Speaking of Crystallized though, that actually relates into another hope that I have for the next season. I hope the next season of Ninjago ends up addressing the issues of Crystallized. When it comes to Crystallized, this season overall is very divisive when it comes to the fanbase, and many fans, myself included, have pointed out a lot of issues when it comes to the season, and I honestly hope that during the next season of Ninjago, some of these issues end up getting addressed. Now, I don't expect the next season of the show to address every single problem with Crystallized, but at the same time, I do hope that the next season ends up addressing some of the bigger issues that fans had. And based on the stuff that we've seen, it looks like some of those issues are actually being addressed. Like, for example, during the trailers, we can clearly see that Nia is a ninja, so it looks like the next season is going to be dropping the Samurai X storyline for Nia. And similarly, it looks like some interesting things are going to be happening with Lloyd during the next season. And when it comes to Lloyd, I do hope stuff related to him during the events of Crystallized are addressed during this season. Mainly him fixating on the idea of Harumi changing even though she's done nothing but hurt him, while at the same time him being actively against the idea of Garmadon changing even though Garmadon wanted to change and become a good person. Those things didn't make a lot of sense to me, and again, I really hope the next season ends up doing something to address this stuff. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And finally, my last hope for the next season of the show is that it does something to shake up the status quo of Ninjago. When it comes to Ninjago, by the end of a lot of the seasons, the show normally ends up going back to some kind of status quo. Now, we have gotten situations where the status quo is changed, like at the end of Sons of Garmadon or at the end of Seabound, for example. And I hope that when it comes to the next season, it also does something to shake up the status quo of Ninjago. And I feel like we might actually see that with the realms merging. Like I said earlier, a big focus of the season is going to be the realms, and I feel like the overall plot of the season is going to revolve around the ninja either A, trying to find a way to prevent the merge from happening, or B, trying to find a way to undo the merge. However, something interesting that could happen is that by the end of the season, the realms might actually remain merged. And instead of there being a bunch of different realms that all the characters live in, instead there would be one gigantic realm that every single character ends up living in. And I feel like this could be something pretty interesting to shake up the status quo of Ninjago. Because if all the realms are merged into one gigantic realm, then that could lead to a lot of interesting storylines and adventures that could be seen during the events in Ninjago. And I feel like that could honestly be something really interesting to see in the future of the franchise. But again, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And so that's pretty much all I got for you guys. So tell me down below, what do you guys think? Tell me, what are some of your guys' hopes when it comes to the next season of Ninjago? Tell me down below, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Later, guys, this is Dimension Master Studios, signing off.